Being strong inside is, I think a lot of people think that being strong means you need to be working all the time. They need to be grinding and they need to be struggling and they need to battle. With your magnet analogy, it's basically everything you want and what you think you should be doing is just pushing it away. Where if you just relax into yourself, get out of your own way. Like you say, something my brother said to me years ago. He's been a big inspiration in my life. He asked me to fold the first origami crane. What he said was, let what's attracted to you come to you, as opposed to trying to chase. And that's the attitude I use with work and with money. It'll come. It'll come when it's ready. It'll come when I'm ready. But if I'm chasing it, it's just going to keep running away.
Welcome to Super Entrepreneurs Podcast. Today we have with us Ross Symons. Ross is an origami expert, and he has become an internet sensation by fusing this skill with animation and video production. The project grew his following on the platform from 120 to 100,000 plus. So happy to meet you, Ross, and I'm so grateful that you came on our show.
Thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. So can you give us a little story on how you got into origami?
Origami, I guess, rocked up for me when I was about 21 years old. My brother asked me to learn how to fold an origami crane, which is like the little standard bird that you get, which most people start off with origami. I folded that was 2002, and I just found I had a fascination with it, and I would just fold it over and over again. And this is when I was still living in Johannesburg in South Africa. I just decided I was just going to try and get better at origami over time. And so between 2002 and 2014, I would fold that crane and any other little designs that I'd find on the internet, in books. And in 2014, I decided I wanted to get better at origami. I wanted to see how good I could get at this thing. I was folding every day. I was trying to get as much material in terms of books and tutorials as possible.
Yeah.
So 2014, I said, cool, I'm going to fold one figure every day for the entire year.
Amazing.
Find designs online, in books. Yeah. And that's what I did. I was working a day job at the time. I was working in advertising. I used to be a web developer, so coding apps and websites.
Big difference.
Yeah, very different. And I just thought, I just wanted to keep, like I said, I just wanted to keep a record of everything that I'd folded and posted onto Instagram. Day one of 365, first day of January 2014, and I posted, it was a crane. The first thing I posted was a crane. And then I found designs over time and just made sure that I posted every single day. And just, how it all happened was, it was very organic. I didn't really set out to become an artist. I didn't set out to create anything that was really going to explode on the internet at all. And by halfway through the year, I was getting a lot of attention. My following was slowly growing, like anything. Followers here and there, it's your mom's friends and your cousins. And slowly just grew into friend circles. And people were saying to me,
family,
wow, this is really cool. Family and friends. That's how it starts for everybody.
That's how it starts, yes.
Yeah, exactly. As the project grew and the more I started interacting with people on the, particularly people in the origami community on Instagram, there was, like anything, you get these little niche pockets of communities where it can be, you're just linking with people that are doing similar things. Started connecting with them, saw what other people were doing. And by August, I was approached, I got an email from Instagram itself. And I think my timing was really good because I started the project, 2014 was still when Instagram was new in South Africa. It was like brand new. It was like this, no one really knew what it was. A couple of photographers were using it. And because I was posting regularly, I think Instagram picked that up. They saw, there were quite a few of these projects where they saw people were posting regularly, slowly growing a following. And they were like, you're doing something different. Could we feature your work or this project that you're doing on our Instagram account? Of course, geez.
Yeah, why not?
And from that, just Instagram posted it, and then it was just blog article after after other Instagram accounts that just started approaching me to say, hey, love your stuff. We're just going to start reposting your stuff. I was like, cool, go for it. But I always maintained I just wanted to finish the project, which was one every day for an entire year.
Yeah.
And through the year, I've been into film and music and sound since I was a kid. I've had a computer in front of me since I was young. So using all these skills that I'd built up over time, or maybe not skills, but interests in movies, in animation,
Passions.
in passion. Yeah, just little interests, just little things that I enjoyed. How do I merge this with this new skill that I was developing, which happened to be origami and stop motion animation, which is almost like claymation. If you've ever seen the new Pinocchio movie that just did very well. Yeah, that was a stop motion movie. So it's a series of photographs stitched together. You move the little piece, tiny bit, take a photo, move it, take a photo. It's a very tedious process, but I think I found that I'm a very patient person. Clearly, doing origami, you have to be quite patient. So stop frame animation also just fell into this whole space. And I started telling little stories, very basic things, piece of paper sliding in, turning into a little pig or a rabbit, designs that I'd find online, stuff that I actually designed myself. And by the end of the year, because I was posting these animations alongside the 365 project, that's when brands started seeing, wow, he's got a bit of a following. He's doing something different. Let's reach out to him and see if he could do something for our brand. And the very first project I did was for Christian Dior. Actually, in France, they got hold of me. They're like, we'd love for you to do something for our Christian Dior project, which was a Japanese link. There was some Christian Dior flying to Japan fashion show thing. And during that time, I just remember thinking to myself, I had freelance work coming in. I'd quit my job a few months before that.
Awesome.
And I just thought I can always go back and do that job. But the kind of work I was doing, there was an abundance of work and there still is. So I just figured, you know what, let me just take a chance now. I had nothing stopping me from doing it. And that was April of 2014. By the end of 2014, I was posting these animations. Brands were starting to get hold of me. And I had a bit of freelance web development work coming in. But I just thought, you know what, now is the best time for me to at least try and make this a full-time thing. So I just said, cool, I'm an origami artist now. I'm a stop motion animator. I do installations as well. So origami, whether it's for an art show or it could be some sort of retail store that wants something, or an event where they just need hundreds or sometimes thousands of origami pieces. And I just said,
to give
I'm
away.
an origami guy. It would be more for decoration. So, for example, one of the projects I did was hanging. Just hanging them, so it creates some sort of it's a feature as part of the campaign or part of the event. Yeah, cool. And how I would tie, what I would always try and do is whenever a brand approached me, we'd love for you to do an installation. I said, I can do stop motion animation as well. So maybe we can do something linked to your social media campaign. So that was me understanding a bit of marketing and upselling because I needed to eat, man.
That's wonderful.
And you've got to, I think as a creative, you have to think about those things. I think I speak to so many creatives, so many artists. How did you do it? And how do you make money from this passion that you have? And I think you've just got to, firstly, you've got to be willing to put yourself out there, but you've also got to understand a little bit about this is how you market yourself. And when somebody asks you for something, this is how you tell them what else you can do. And this is who else you can get involved. The people that you meet along the way, you say, hey, we'd love to collab with you on this project. Is that possible? So those were just things in hindsight now I did. But so now I run White on Rice, which is the origami. Essentially, it's an origami studio.
Nice name.
We do, it works nicely with the old white origami paper, Japanese. And we create stop frame animations in the form of, it can be anything. It's mainly content for brands, for social media, website content, music videos. And going forward, like I'm just trying to connect with as many people to see if I could do or we could do a series of some kind, be it a Netflix special or a 10-part series on YouTube, whatever it is, telling stories.
Like actual, could be through origami.
Yeah. Just telling stories using origami as
that's awesome.
Because essentially, you could create paper characters and tell any story because that's essentially what we've been able to create is the ability to tell stories. And that's why brands approach us because it's like we can create stories in a very visually different way, but also it has this nostalgia attached to it. Everyone remembers folding something as a child. So it brings that childlike nature. I think something I try not to. I find myself, I have a very different sense of humor, and I like to bring that into some of the animations
Awesome.
that I do as well. I
Yeah.
think that, yeah, just a combination of all these things that I've collected over time, I've just managed to funnel through this Instagram channel initially. And
That's
yeah,
great.
just been super grateful with what's happened.
That's awesome.
And yeah, that was 2014. So it's 9 years running, and I haven't really looked back.
Great. We created a business out of it. And that's the kind of stuff that we love sharing here. The funny thing is, the day your booking came in, I just did a quick search just to see who you were. And I saw it. I saw some videos, saw your Instagram, and saw what you were doing. I was just really excited because this kind of stuff, uniqueness, does inspire me and excites me. So I wanted to definitely get a chance to talk to you as soon as possible. And the funny thing happened that day is that my cousin came over and he just was scrolling his phone. I don't know why. I just looked over and I saw a sketch and I said, "What is that?" He goes, "Oh, this is what I do." I go, "When do you do that?" He goes, "Oh, whenever I have free time, this is what I do." Like, people go out and stuff and I just scribble, I just make things on paper. I go, "Aren't you doing something with this? Because you inspired me, your information."
Yeah.
So it was just funny how it happened. And I said, "Hey, why don't you do something with this? Why don't you go on Fiverr or something and brands will pay you to scribble stuff and draw stuff?" Because it was pretty impressive. And it's the same way. There's so many people out there with this creative hand or just this uniqueness that are doing it at home. They have no idea that could completely change their life because it's a skill, it's an art. They have something with them in their possession and they're not taking the step. Like you said, put yourself out there. And it's so important to do that because if you didn't do that, you wouldn't know this world.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, a lot of the creatives that I do speak to, they really want to do this thing. It's always just been like a
Yeah.
side hustle for them.
Yeah.
And look, it's not something that I've just told my story now. It's not something you just unplug from the system, jump out and become an origami artist
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever it is. But I think that if you continuously put your content out there, and it doesn't have to be on social media, I just happen to do it that
Yeah.
way. I
Good
guess
way.
that you do it like that because it's way easier for you to send a link to somebody to show them your portfolio of work if it's on Instagram or whatever. And
Yeah.
but there's other ways of doing it as well. Reaching out to agencies, going to the brands themselves, or going to people, art galleries, whatever it is, and putting yourself out there and saying, "Look,
Yeah.
this is the kind of work I do. This is what I'm willing to do." And at the
Awesome.
beginning, it's hard. It's not because
Yeah.
you have to build
Like
a name
anything.
for yourself. Exactly.
Yeah.
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 Overnight success is made in over 10 years.
Small
It's that
steps.
old
Yeah,
sailing.
definitely. And when you were doing this for 365 days, was there ever a day that you felt ill or if you didn't feel like doing it?
Oh man, many days. There was
What
one
did you
day.
do to overcome?
So what I did is I just made sure that I had enough content that I could post on the day. So there were days where
Okay,
I would make 3 or 4 pieces of content,
good.
which I
Okay,
stacked. So
got it.
although I
Understood.
was folding every day anyway, it was more about keeping a digital record and making sure that
Yes,
I just got consistency
makes
and
sense.
continued doing it. And
Mm.
years later, not years later, in 2017, I then did another 365-day project because for me that was again putting myself out there, making myself accountable for creating content again, because like anything, you run out of steam, you get tired, you kind of, or for me it was just like, oh, am I really doing this? Is this really something that I can do for the next 3 or 4 years? How do I get myself past over that sort of slump, that energy? And so I did another one. I was like, cool, let's do another one. And I changed the second one. I made it was a miniature origami series as opposed to a normal size
Oh,
one. So
nice.
there was a challenge
With
in that as well.
tweezers?
Yeah, I used tweezers and toothpicks
Oh,
and a
amazing.
whole bunch of stuff. Yeah. And
Oh,
and,
that's
and it's all
awesome.
on my Instagram account. I kept everything there
Cool.
for
That's
myself. I
great.
mean, I just wanted
Mhm.
that record. And always, hopefully, the internet doesn't throw Instagram away. But as long as it
Mm.
doesn't, I will always have that record on my account. And I haven't taken any posts down. And yeah, so if you're listening and you are a creative person and you want to get your stuff out there, just be relentless. Just put it out
Yes,
there, connect with people, and connect with the
just
community
do
that's
it.
doing similar work to you. Because
Mhm.
you'll be very surprised. The community a new community that I'm connecting with now is the virtual reality and augmented reality community, because I'm technical. I enjoy that
Mhm.
world. I think there's a lot of interesting stuff that's going to come from it. The whole AI thing. I know not everyone's on board there, but I definitely am. I'm
Mhm.
excited for what it's going to
Yeah,
create.
me too.
But there's a lot of people, yeah, it's awesome. And there's a lot of people
Mhm.
creating very unique stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm connecting with them. And I'm not looking at myself going, oh, well, I've got this many followers. They need to approach
Mhm.
me, or my work is
Yes,
better than them.
yes. No ego.
I've Exactly. I've taken the mentality
Mm.
of I'm starting at the bottom again.
That's
Like, I want to
great.
connect with these
Love it.
guys. There's people doing really incredible stuff. So I humbly just, hey, listen, really appreciate what you're doing. If there's any way we could collaborate, because I want to learn from them.
Yeah.
And I think that
Of
I
course.
can teach them a couple of things, but they can
Yes.
definitely show me
Of course.
how
Yeah.
this whole world works.
Yeah.
And I think that that mindset has definitely helped me, and
Mhm.
it will help anyone who
Yeah.
is starting out and somebody that wants to continue with it. Just
Yeah.
take the thing that you're good at and try your best to try and mix it into different forms. And that's how you create something original. You end up you doing the origami thing, and then all of a sudden AI rocks up and so how do I blend those two things together? How do I blend
Yeah.
origami and animation? And
Mhm.
how do I take animation
Mhm.
to the next level within that
Mhm.
the confines of paper and origami? So I think that, and now I just feel like at the moment it's very easy for me to get out of the dark days where I feel, oh, maybe this isn't working out, or
Mm.
that doesn't really, it's not even a thing anymore for me. Where it
Good.
used to be, there were
Yeah.
times where I'm just like, oh, and again, surround
But do you
yourself with people
notice,
that,
sorry,
yeah,
go
just
ahead.
surround yourself with people that are going to tell you, listen, just keep on going. You've got what it takes. Just that also helps. If I didn't have my wife and my family supporting and telling me like, listen, your stuff is great and we like seeing it, then it would have been difficult for me. And I've also had to try and force myself not to use that as the reason I'm doing it. I have to do it for myself first and foremost before for anybody else. But it helps me stay focused and yeah, just propel myself forward.
So, Ross, did you notice a difference in your growth once you started actually believing that you got this, you're making this happen? When you were doubting and worrying compared to when you just said, I'm good, did you notice a faster incline in your growth?
It definitely helped me stay focused. And
Mm.
my periods of focus, I'd be able to look at my Instagram account and say, okay, I could see I was going through a bit of a weird patch there. And it was just how regularly I was posting content. But in terms of just knuckling down and actually trying to get better at what I was doing, that is what I would focus on whenever I had these periods of
Mm.
maybe this is not working out. Instead of sitting there worrying about, oh, there's no work coming in, or is anybody
Yeah.
ever going to pay me again for this thing? Do I have to go
Mm.
back and do web development work? There were all these are natural thoughts for any creative endeavor or
Mm.
entrepreneurial journey. My wife has got her
Period.
own
Yeah.
business and she goes through very similar things. But in those times, I just know I need to do the work. And the work is getting down to actually creating and making. And I read a quote, I think it was last year sometime. It said, inspiration follows creation, something along those lines. But basically just
Mhm.
implying that you sit there waiting for inspiration to rock up out of nowhere. But as soon as you start working, then inspiration will rock up. It's something that
Mhm.
follows rather than leads. And you
Mhm.
lead it by starting. And by starting, you force yourself into a position of, okay, cool. I'm focusing on what I'm trying to get better at now. And it's almost like all the negativity and self-doubt that you have just falls into the background and you don't even notice it anymore. And
Mm.
I do believe that energy is a lot more conducive to you moving forward and attracting
Yes.
whatever you want into your life.
Yes. For me, what I noticed in my experience is that when I was an entrepreneur that was worrying and doubting, my growth was just like a very bumpy road. I would go a little bit, fall off, go a little bit, and I was getting in my own way a lot. And
Mhm.
you see a lot of entrepreneurs in the same kind of predicament. Once you create that complete faith within that you're making this happen, it just changes the quality and the effectiveness of what you do tenfold. And that's why I wanted to ask you that question.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, you would know and those times are dark and it's where you're like, woo, running out of money and like, is more money coming in? And you make a plan. And as soon as I'm sure you'll understand this, but like, as soon as you're just like, okay, you know what, let me just relax, take some time to just think about how we can
Calmness.
change this thing. Just,
Mm,
yes, just allow calmness into your space.
mm,
And
yes.
once I know that sounds so woo woo, and most business people would be
Well,
like,
it's
calmness,
true.
huh?
Yeah.
Okay, really? Is
100%
is
calmness.
that your business tactic? And I'm like,
100% is a business
for me,
tactic. I live and
Absolutely.
die by it. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Without calmness, you're not going to be able to create the way you can create in calmness.
yeah, exactly. It's
You
look,
know.
I think that on a technical level, it's not calmness that's going to put money in your bank account, but having that sense of just being chilled around you,
Mm.
because you're not stressed anymore, and
No,
more
that
ideas
calmness
come
of
up.
mind.
Yeah,
The
and
calmness of mind is the creative mind. When you're too
absolutely.
busy and too chaotic up there, you're just pushing yourself for that idea. It moves away from you when you flip over a magnet. And when you try to put them
Mhm.
together, they don't go together the same way. When you have calmness, you're just more creative. You get so much more done. I live by it. So it's definitely a key ingredient to all this.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Something that I've found that I used to mistake it for laziness was I would need
Mm.
periods where I would need to just sit and do nothing, literally, just
Yeah.
because I'm not, I handle stress pretty well, but there were
Mm.
just times where I'm like forcing myself I need to be working, I need to be connecting, I
Yeah.
need to be making, I need to be, and as soon as I caught myself doing
That
that, I was,
need.
let me just not do that and see what happens. And
Yeah.
again, welcome the calmness, just chill out for a bit,
Yes.
have a
Yeah.
nice meal,
Just
have something
relax.
to drink and relax.
Mm.
And also extended periods of that have really helped me as well, because then I find, okay, cool.
Yes.
Then I want to do stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. Let me design something. What's a cool idea for
Yeah. I love
a
this.
new animation? And
Yeah.
honestly, I'm not like making all this stuff up. This is exactly how I
Yeah.
approach everything. And I do feel that it is something that you can use.
Mm.
There's entrepreneurship at this stage, and being your own boss is very trendy, and it's a very attractive thing, because you see these people that
Yeah.
have got time on their hands, they've got a bit of money,
Yeah.
they're just not working
Looks
for the
pretty
man.
from
So
outside. Mhm.
absolutely, it looks amazing from outside, but in the trenches where it gets dark sometimes and it
Yeah.
gets difficult.
Mm.
Those are those times, firstly, where you learn the most about yourself and whether you can
Yeah.
actually do this, whatever it is you're
Yeah.
trying to do. But
Mhm.
it allows you to grow so much, because you realize,
Mhm.
okay, if I don't make this happen, then it's not going to
Yeah.
happen by itself. But
The fo-
if you can do that along with being calm, then I think you've
yeah.
got the whole recipe worked out.
Yeah, entrepreneurship or going into business requires a very special kind of foundation, a very strong, like carbon is to steel,
Mhm.
Napoleon Hill would say. You need that foundation, a strong one that you can handle those ups and downs. And entrepreneurship, like you said, is not easy, but you need to be strong inside.
Yeah. But also
Yeah.
being strong
So,
inside is, I think a lot of people think that being strong means you need to be working all the time. It's something I've noticed
mm,
that a lot of people, and they need to be, they
yeah,
need to be grinding, and they
no,
need to be
that's
struggling, and they
forcing.
need to
That's,
battle. And that, I
yeah,
promise you, that exactly with your magnets analogy, it's basically
yeah.
everything you want and what you think you should be doing is just pushing it away.
It's
Where if you just say,
pushing it away.
relax,
Yes.
just
Love it.
relax into
Yeah.
yourself, get out of your own way, like you say,
Yes. Get out
and
of
just,
your own way.
and also let what is something my brother said to me years ago.
Yeah.
He's been a big inspiration in my life. He asked me to fold
That's
that
awesome.
first origami crane. What he said
Yeah.
was, let what's attracted to you come to you, as opposed to
Yes.
trying to chase and trying to. And
Yes.
I've been, that's the attitude I use with work and with money.
Yeah.
It'll come when
Yep.
it's ready.
It'll
It'll come
come.
when I'm ready.
Yeah.
But if I'm
Yeah.
chasing it, it's just going to keep
Yeah.
running away.
That force, that feeling of force, it literally feels like it's moving away from you. And you'll see many entrepreneurs going through. I spent my entire life going through that. I just kept focusing on the results and chasing it. I got to do
Mhm.
better. Look at that guy. He's doing so much better. Why can't I do it? It was like every day. It wasn't getting me anywhere. When you started looking at things the other way, and you just have faith. Injecting that faith takes work, but once you create that faith, that you'll be okay. Let's just enjoy this journey. You just change the perception of what is going on. It's a superpower. It's great to
Definitely.
talk to you about this stuff, Ross. I want to ask one more question from you. What do you feel your innermost superpower is that got you to this point in life?
Focus. Definitely focus.
Mm-hmm.
I think I naturally have an ability to pick something and just run with it. I've done that with everything. I played the guitar for many years. I sat behind a computer and learned how to use that thing. But it was something, again, my brother pointed out to me. It was I just focusing on something. And once I didn't even know that I had this thing in me. But once I realized it was something that you can actually train yourself to do, which is just lock into something. And it makes it easier when you're doing
It's
something
will.
that you enjoy. It's will, but
Mhm.
tenacity, a bit of focus. So I would say,
It's a
yeah,
good mix.
yeah. I feel fortunate that I am like that. But even if
Good.
you don't feel that you have that, once you find the right thing that you should be doing, it's way easier to
Yeah.
focus on it for
Yeah.
extended periods of time.
And focus comes from desire. When you have that desire, you can uncover that just been masked over by their environmental conditioning.
Mm.
It's there. Everyone has it. You just have to find out what you really want. What is that burning desire? Bring it out, fall in love with it. And then you make that a paradigm that you are a very focused person. You make that a subconscious belief and you watch. I can see people becoming like Ross here.
Cool, man. Yeah, I
Yeah.
really love
Yeah.
what you said there because it's true.
Mm,
I
yeah.
was saying to my wife the other day, just trying to find purpose and meaning in
Mm,
what you do. And
yeah.
it's what I've decided is my meaning or my purpose for now. It might not be the thing that it is forever, but is to create and to make as
Yeah.
much as possible. And from that, everything else exists. So if I just wake up
Yes.
in the morning, I'm like, I'm going to make something today, then I know I'm fulfilling some sort of purpose. And
Mhm.
very interesting and special things start happening to you when you decide
Yeah.
that, cool, this is what I want to do.
Wow. Ross, it was wonderful talking to you, my friend. If you have anything that you're launching in the future, you want to
Mhm.
promote it, just send us a message. We'd love to bring you on and we can continue this conversation. I'm really happy to see the growth that you're experiencing. I'm sure you're going to be in some movies and videos, and you're just going to keep going with that attitude that you have. And I wish you all the best and all the success. Thank you.
Thank you so much, man. Really, really
No
appreciate you
problem.
having me on. And yeah, thanks.
No problem, Ross. And audience, thanks again for joining us. Ross's information will be in the show notes. Check out what he's doing, especially his Instagram page is pretty amazing. I followed his page yesterday and I checked out some of his work. But definitely you want to see what he's doing. And if you're a business looking for that creativity, come with an idea, come with some inspiration that you want to do for your business. And you could tell Ross is the kind of guy that's going to take that inspiration idea and he's going to make it happen visually. He's going to bring it to life. So you guys will come out with some phenomenal ideas that you can share with Ross. So get in touch with him. Thank you again. Thank you for helping us grow. We can't grow without you. Appreciate you all. And bye for now. Bye, Ross.
Bye.